Hi everyone and welcome back. One of the things we commonly do in Year 7 and 8 assessments is get the students to put the numbers in ascending order. So what do we mean by ascending order? We mean going up. So we're talking about going up from the smallest to the largest. Now a lot of people will look at it here and go, that's the smallest, -3. It's like if we looked at the temperature, that would be -3 degrees, and then would come -2 degrees, and then would come 1 and come 4. But a lot of people can't do that, and often they'll even ask you to mark on the diagram. So if you're asked to place -2 on the diagram, you can put the dot here. Some people will put the dot above it. Doesn't matter if you put it there or above. Either is better. Either is okay. I prefer to have it on the line because of what comes later on. So there's -2. Here is 4, dot for 4, a dot for -3, and we've also got a dot for 1. So then if I read from left to right, I can just write -3, -2, 1, and then 4. And we place the numbers in ascending order from going left to right. Now, probably most people teach negative numbers using a horizontal line. On the videos that I've got coming up, I'm teaching negative numbers on a vertical line. So many students still have trouble and make silly mistakes on this, and I find that a lot of students make less when they do it vertically. I can see why. We will always do it this way. Very common. It's easier to fit in on the assessment, by the way, instead of having a line going this way. But if you deal with it across this way, you put a dot for -2, same as before, a dot for 4, a dot for -3, and a dot for 1. Now, for me then, the ascending order is really obvious. You're going from -3 and you're going upwards. So again, you'd write down -3, then the -2, and then the 1, and then 4. And then you've got it in ascending order. One of the next things that happen that makes up a lot of students is they use the crocodiles. I'll talk about crocodiles, the less than and the greater than signs. I want to talk about that for a little bit. So this sign means less than, and there's lots of, especially for primary school, methods of talking about the crocodile and it's eating the other number. But here we are talking about Year 8 in high school and Year 7, and that one's talked about, it's called greater than. So if I asked you the question and I said, is -3, and let's say -3, let's say this one here at -3 and this one here at 1, is it going to be less, is -3 less than 1, or is -3 greater than 1? Now most of you will say, okay, if I had -3 it's colder. So if I looked over here and I was looking at temperatures, -3, and I had 1, -3 would be a lot colder than 1. Probably wouldn't notice how much colder, but it is colder. I don't mind a winter's morning is cold at 1, but if you get to -3, especially here where I live in Western Australia, we basically don't see -3. But what is it going to be? By the way, that shape, I just see it as an L for less than. So there's your L for less than. If I did that as a capital L, there's an L for less than. So -3 is less than 1. So what if I write these two numbers down? Oh, there it is again. -3 is less than or below 1. What if I talked about -2 and -3? And some people put a box in, and they put a box in, I think I've got on one of my worksheets. Put a box in, you've got to put in the symbol that makes it true. See, this is now true, whereas if I would have written that symbol there, it's false, it's not true. Let's go back to that's true. So which symbol will I put in now? Some of you will be jumping up and down and saying, I know what it is, I don't need to watch this. Is -2 below -3? And so I talk about the -2 and the -3. Is -2 below -3, or is -3 below -2? You talk about it and you can go, well, okay, if I put that symbol in, would that be correct? Is -2 less than -3? And pretty obviously no, which is what I like about the vertical, but you can do it up here. So is -2 less than -3? And the answer is no. -2 is greater than -3. It's bigger. So in this way, we're talking about this way is going bigger or larger, and this way is going smaller. So let's go back over to this one here. If I'm looking at those two, the bigger is obviously up at the higher. So this is going higher up as we go upwards, and it's going lower as we go downwards. So it's a matter of choice which way you prefer. I found over the years a lot of students start to think this when they're struggling. They'll think this more quickly than they'll think this more quickly than they'll think this method. So -2 is higher or above. You can talk about above. -2 is above -3, so it's greater than -3. I hope it helps. The videos that follow from it, dealing with all the questions, like I've already said, with the vertical. And you can think about it this way if you want to. I hope it helps. If you enjoy it, let your friends know.